Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Lovely to see you all here. Morning, Carol, Bill, Sue, June, Fiona. Nice to see you up. Well, at least watching. You don't have to be up, do you? Really? Morning, Nicola. I hope you're feeling a bit better today. Morning, May. Oming, Nikki. Oh dear, you're having problems with your beginning of your words, they say. Morning, Heather and Teresa. Up and dressed, Fiona. Steady. And it's nice to see that we've got our weather forecast for the day from all over the country, if not all over the world, because we have got all over the world. So, yeah. I have got one of the new pink ink Christmas stamps here today. And I don't know if any of you have looked at the pink ink designs. For example, take the front of this cover. Absolutely gorgeous. But perhaps for the beginner or even the average person, a little bit beyond us to be able to colour in all those different ways. The stamps are just superb, and so they lend themselves to being able to achieve something really good without being too difficult. And so I thought, well, let's achieve something like this, but just with the one colour. So a similar idea that we were doing last week, but taking it a bit further because we've got an aperture around it, and we've also got a frame with the sentiments on. So I was going to show you how to do that as well. Okay, so there are actually some even more new pink ink stamps out, but they aren't the Christmas ones, and I will be getting some of those. They are the frames, I think they're calling them, with more floral element, but these are the little animals and things. So this one's called A Christmas Carol. So it comes with, let's show you like that. You've got the main stamp, so that's just one stamp, and then you've got a couple, or rather one sentiment, a little cup of hot chocolate or something, mouse climbing up a tree, a little bit of music, and a little bit of a little mouse with a sleigh and a present or two on there. So there's quite a few bits and pieces, but we're going to be using just a couple on this one. All right, so without further ado, let us get started. So we're going to aim for a 8x8 card. And the reason why we're doing 8x8, oh, crash bang wallop, is because that gives this actual stamp more impact, I think. If you squash it down, you could do a much smaller one, but the way that I wanted to do it gives it more impact. So there you go. So I've chopped a piece of ordinary card, nothing special, and I have just cut that down to about 7x7 because it's going to sit within the 8x8 piece, and I don't want it to the very, very edge because I want to be able to put that frame around it. And I've already positioned my stamp. Now, the way that I've positioned the stamp is more down the bottom because I'm going to make my circle aperture around here, and so I don't want him absolutely in the middle. I want him down the bottom. Okay, I don't know why I've called it a hymn, because, or maybe it's because they're singing hymns, eh? So I've just put this bit of clear acetate just to protect it a bit whilst I was playing about. And I'm going to take one of the distress inks. Now, again, I know that other dye inks, the Eyes Ink inks will work on this, but it does have to be, in order to get a good result, a dye-based ink. So the Petal inks, which we are all loving, are pigment inks, and they don't really work very well with this. So it's either one of the distress inks, and I suggest the distress ink as opposed to the distress oxide. I have got a few of this colour in the on the Facebook Live section of the website today, because I know some people were saying, oh, well, I haven't got any. So there you go. You do have a choice. So I'm just going to ink it up just in the one colour, and that's all we're sort of worrying about as such. Just the one colour. So this one obviously is a Christmas one, but you know, you can make any sort of different colours there, different ones with the pink ink range, I think. So I'm just going to pop that down once, and I think I will probably do it a second time, beauty of the stamping platform. because although it is a gorgeous image, I just want a little bit more ink there this time because I want to be able to get it to carry. So just ink that up one more time and go back in exactly the same spot. As I say, beauty of the stamping platform, and then just ink that image up. And I think that's better. I think that gives me a bit more of the image. Okay, so I'm going to take this out because I won't use this one again, but I will use the stamping platform again. So let me just pop him back onto the carrier sheet here. So the pink ink stamps are really a lot of detail to them, and so when it comes to actually making them and colouring them, you just need to look at the detail. So you can see that I should be having a lighter area here because I've got the lamp, but otherwise nothing much else, I don't think. So I'm going to take my aqua pen, and it is the ordinary, the regular water brush of it. So it's just got the water in the barrel here, so I don't need to have a pot of water and keep adding water to it. And it's got a special valve to it so that it just has a particular amount of water coming down at a regular level, so you don't have to worry about that. So all I'm going to do is just pick up and just paint over the images. I'm just picking it up and just moving the colour along. Okay, so I'm going to do that first and foremost. So I'm sort of going in, well, yeah, I am going in with the edges, but wherever there is a bit of ink, I'm just spreading that over and onto his little feet, and just, hopefully you can see this. Let me just bring this in a bit closer that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm just going to go over all the bits. So I've not put any more water on my brush, and I'm just picking up the extra, all the little lines. And I'm going to go over all the bits, and then I'm going to add a little bit in a minute or two, and I have done all of the bits, just where I think there might have been a bit more of a darker area needed. So as I say, there are some new pink ink designs. So these are the Christmas ones that came out about a fortnight ago. Some of you already got them, and as I say, I love the pink ink. They have got so much detail, but do admit that sometimes when you see the patterns, the projects that people do, they are beautiful, but they have a lot of work to them in getting all the colouring right. And I thought, do you know what? A lot of people might be put off by there being too much to colour. So I've just got it on ordinary card here. It's not watercolour card. It's just ordinary, and it's not even stamping card. It's just ordinary cheap card. I think it's about a 300 GSM, so it's quite a thick card, but that's irrelevant. I'm not going to be drowning it with water, so I don't need to worry too much about that. And just making sure, let's go over this bit here. So it does dry off, obviously, as you're going along, but again, you don't want it saturated. I'm just going over all those little bits there. So then I'm going to take my small blending mat, and I'm going to add some of the Stormy Sky to it so that I can pick up just a little bit of it. Okay, so just literally picking up a little bit of that, and I just wanted to put that in a couple of the places where I think it might be a bit darker. So we're just going to give him a darker what's he got? Scarf, a darker scarf. Give her a bit of a darker beginning of her little cape. But because it's the same colour, I'm not going to sort of ruin it, if you see what I mean, by putting in that darker, that different colour, because sometimes if you start to then put, oh, I think I'll have a red bow, it's a bit much. I'm going to put a bit more on here. I want that to be a bit darker. And that's my sort of focal point for there. Where else should we go? Give him a little bit of a darker waistcoat. So you can pick and choose wherever you want to go, but because it's the same colour, and if you just put more on, all you're doing is just getting a deeper tone, really, then you should be about right. Obviously, I know that there are amongst you some beautiful colourists and people that can do these really, really well. But I just wanted to show to people that they are quite accessible for everybody. I'm just going to do their feet in a slightly darker blue. So just add in a little bit onto their feet and tail. And that's it. Okay, so that's all I need of my colouring. So again, very quickly, it becomes a little bit more on there than it already is. So I'm then going to just, because I want to work quite quickly with this to show you all, I'm just going to zoom out a second, and I'm just going to heat this up just to dry it off. It's not very wet, as I say, but because I want to do something else to it now, I just need it a bit drier to make sure that it's a bit drier. Okay, so now I'm going to use my one of my brushes, one of my blending brushes. So this is the largest one of the large pack. So in the large pack you get 2 that size, and where are we? That size. So there's 2 in that pack, and this is the largest one of it. So I've done my bit of a trick where I've taken a piece of mirror card and I've cut out one of the large circles using an ordinary die from it, and I'm going to now position that over my image. And the way that I'm going to do it is just so that it frames it. Okay, so I'm going to just try and check if that would be about the middle, which I reckon it would. And I know that I have missed his tail and her foot, and possibly her tail is there as well, but just a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to take my Stormy Sky again. So whatever colour you're doing, exactly the same colour again. And therefore, if you make any mistakes, it just won't notice. Okay, I'm going to pick up a bit of the Stormy Sky on my brush, and I'm going to bring that in from the outside, and just you'll hardly think that you're doing anything in actual fact, but just bring that in from all the way around the outside, and a little bit down the bottom as well. So just a little bit. So I'm just holding it, but you could put it so that you've got some magnets on there as well. So I'm just going back, and I'm not going to bother. I have done it a little bit down the bottom, but now I'm going to go back round the sides, and I'm just picking up a bit more ink and just bringing that in from the sides, because it's at night time. And there you go, just bringing in a bit more around there, but I'm not going to touch anywhere near that circle there, the circle of the light. Now you're getting all the glare from this, so there we are. I'm going to take that away, and I think then you'll see that we've already got that really popping now, because they've all been sort of spotlighted, really spotlighted. So then I'm going to go back to my stamp set here, and I'm going to choose this one here, which is like musical notes, which obviously gives them the idea as if they're singing. And I'm putting that, I could put it on my platform, but because I'm going to do 2 little ones, I'm going to put it onto an acrylic block. And because there is musical notes there, don't know if you can see that very well, probably not, but there's the treble clef there. Getting very posh now, I even know what it's called. Treble clef. So that's the start. So just make sure that you're putting that on the right way round as opposed to upside down. Okay, so the treble clef has to be the right way round. So again, I'm using it with the Stormy Sky, same colour, exactly the same colour. And I'm just going to pop that one on that side as if they're all singing away merrily, and one on that side. Okay, so I've got them as if they're singing, and suddenly that one stamp is looking as if it is actually sort of telling a tale almost. So let's pop that to one side. Now I want to make my frame. Okay, so I'm using the Presscut nesting dies for my frame. And let me just get the pack here. So we've got, I can't even remember how many it is, loads and loads on there, 30 or something of these sizes, with the very biggest one being the 8x8. So because I want to be using the frame, I'll show you again with this one, whoops, so that I've got an outer bit of blue and an inner bit of blue. This is how I do it. So I choose which frame I want, and I'm going to choose the largest, not the very largest, the next one down. And that's going to be in my coloured card. So my, in this case, blue card. Okay. So if the piece that you want to show the bit of colour on is the first layer, and that's my blue card. So I've already cut that one out. Then I take the next die down, the next size, and that I would cut for my white piece of card, because I'm going to put this actual frame on there. Okay, so that's the largest, and then the next one down, so the very next one down. So then I need to actually cut my frame bit. So I've already chosen those two. So I'm going again for one size die and then the next one down. So that's my biggest piece. That's going to be at the back. And this is the bit for the front. So I am going to, as they say, eyeball this. So I'm going to put this down. You could use your frame. So you could use, oh, got squashed. I could use this to make sure that this is absolutely straight. And how I would do that would be to put the grid on top of my white piece of card with my die at the bottom. And as you can see, you can follow the straight lines there to get that in exactly the straight place. You could use your other dies to measure it all off as well. But I am just going to pop that into position. I think that is probably just about right. So I'm going to pop that into there and that one into there. And I'm going to run that through my machine. Oops. Hold of that. Do I have any more colours in the Distress inks? I do have a few more, but I haven't put them on. But I can do, if you want to hold on for a minute. Yeah, I know you could see me. That's why I wanted to get rid of that quickly. I will put them on the website later of which you can get, okay? So let's just put this through. So that will cut me out my white frame. Like that. Whoops. Use that white piece for something later on. So then I get my blue piece of card back in. And the next dyed size down from the other one. So I'm now predominantly looking that I've got this in the right place for the outer bit. So I've got that little white line. I've evened it up all the way round. So I know that that is correct. Then I pop my centre die in, and I can centre that by seeing that it's the same width all the way around from my white piece. And then I'm just going to get a bit of tape there and there. I'm going to remove that so that I can tape that down a bit more securely. So tape that down there, pop that onto there, and then I'm going to run that one through. It's always talk amongst yourselves at that point, isn't it? So I've got yet another piece of spare cards that I can do something with that later on as well. And I've now got my frame. Okay, so popping my frame onto there, and I know it's a dark background, but you can now see that I've got that little frame all the way around. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm going to pop on some sentiments. So, oh, hold on. Staff's holding the conversation. So in order to get some sentiments, I've gone back to some old ones from Mr. Phil Martin there, actually. Hold on a second, I better shut the door. Okay. Oh, gosh. Flash bang wallop. And these are scribbled Christmas sentiment corners. I don't know why that he doesn't bring out sentiments, or no one else does any corner sentiments, because I just love these. So you've got a selection. Oh, sit better on here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, thinking of you at Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all, Happy New Year. And then around this side, with love at Christmas, have a magical festive season, wishing you peace and joy and happy Christmas. So you can choose whatever, a combination or the same one all the way round, whatever you fancy having a go at. So I'm going to go with love at Christmas, which is this one here. So let me show you how we do that. Now, I'm going to pop this over the top because I just want to protect my work underneath whilst I get this in the right position. So I'm just going to pop this so that it is literally, as it says, corner stamp, so that it's going to be on the corner here. So I've got with love there and at Christmas there. I'm then going to pick that up, and then I can take that out of the way. Now, because I was using blue with my Stormy Sky, I won't stamp a sentiment with the distress inks. It's not a good image. It does come out. I don't like it. I like it to be crisp, and I like it to be able to be read, which is why I would use VersaFine or VersaFine Clair in this case. And this one is in medieval blue. So it's a shade of blue, but it's not sort of, you know, it's not a black, and it just shows nicely. So I just stamp that. You can see I've already got now that sentiment going partly way round. I then turn my frame around, making sure that it's right in that corner again. And I will just check, but I know that that's going to be in exactly the right position because it's the same all the way around. So I just stamp it up, press it down. We know that is correct. Turn it round. I just think these corner sentiments give such a nice, if you're doing frames, I think that they're really nice to put the sentiment on without, sometimes you don't want it on an image. So the image that we've done today, you might not want to put it on with the same image there. So it just, sometimes the image, it sort of would get ruined if you put a sentiment on. Well, that's what I think anyway. But you do what you like. So there you go. So we then have our sentiment all the way round, and it's in exactly the same place. I think it works out as a really lovely sentiment, as I say, for when you're doing a frame, but not with your distress ink in that particular case. Okay, so just to protect my base, because I know there's going to be some ink on there, just going to close that over so that I will tidy that away later on. So now I'm going to just assemble my card. So I'm going to use my tape runner on this, and I'm just going to, oh, squeak. I'm just going to put this onto the back of just the white piece here. Oh gosh, or maybe not. Looks like I might have run out. Well, that's not very good, is it? Hold on a minute. Hold on. Have we got that working again? Oh, just about. Just about. Preferably you pick up a roller that works. Or you use glue, because you know that does. Right, so go back onto the frame. So there we go. I'll just position that so that it is even on the outside bits, and then that should just fall into place on there. So they've got an even frame on the inside and an even frame on the outside. So then I'm going to add some tape, and I've actually got myself some more cut that properly. I've got some more of the tape roll, and this time I've gone for a 3 centimetre roll depth. So I have treated myself to 3 and 2 centimetre depth, because I just like to have that a bit deeper. Oh, trim that second. So I'm going to give myself quite a wide border. So you can see I've put it quite close to the edge, because I want to put it a second layer around, because this is a deep frame and I want to be able to make sure that it is all quite firm. I think nothing worse than a floppy frame, is there, eh? I don't want a floppy frame. Yeah, millimeters, sorry. Yeah, 3 millimeters, not centimeters. That would be a bit much, wouldn't it? But when I'm doing the frame, I think that is how I would like it to be. Okay, so let's just go back to get my card blank and my image. So I'm going to just make sure I've got the card round the right way first, and I'm going to attach my image onto there, obviously that way round, well, the right way round. Just going to put some glue onto the back of that. What are we saying? What are we saying? Do you sell the tape? No, it's under the, yeah, it's with, let's get around the right way. If you go to the website, I will put another link up there because I've forgotten what it is. Viking Supplies, Victory Supplies. And you put in the code for, I think it's John Next Door. They even give you 10% off, so that's the best way to do it. Let me just turn this over and be able to give it a good old push down then. So let's make sure that all stays stuck. And then my frame is going to go over the top there. Just going to trim that bit off because that was a bit too much on that side. I'll just take all my tape off. So yeah, I think that the 3 millimeters, if you're doing a frame, if you just want to give it a little bit of a boost, then the 2 millimeters is actually absolutely fine. But I actually think that the 3 millimeters is just that little bit better if you wanted to really give it some depth. And I think with a frame, that is actually what you're trying to aim for. Aim for the frame. So now we're just going to have to try and get my head out of shot and into shot and whatever. Just want to pop that down. There we are. So you can see that because I've got the two widths behind there, okay, if I just put the one, you might then get it bending a bit. And it really, if you've gone to the trouble of making such a lovely frame, you really don't want it to bend. You could then get your white gel pen and pick up some of the little bits and pieces. So pick up some of the elements and whatever. But basically, oh, sorry, taking it out of the picture. Is it Viking it's called? Yeah. I can't remember. I don't think it says. And I haven't got my thing in here. It's a massive roll. It's 20 meters for this bit. The 2 millimeter one is 25 meters, but this is the 3 millimeter one, and this is 20 meters. But I think we'll agree that there still is plenty left. Okay, so a very similar card in as much as we were using the inks and whatever, but I think that with these pink inks, they are so lovely, but sometimes you might be put off by thinking I can't even achieve one picture of this. But some of the others, if you look at some of the other ones, I did a really pretty one as well with the hair, and that was a nice one to go with as well. But not all of them, but very, very much so, a lot of them, that they work very well with this. Okay, so thank you. I hope you like it. There are a few of the sentiments left, but they are unfortunately discontinued. So they don't make them anymore. And I have got the last ones that were available at the suppliers. So I think it's a shame that they're not doing more like that actually go around the corner. But there you go. There you go. So I will be back on Wednesday with some die cutting that time on Wednesday. So we'll be doing something a bit different on Wednesday, and then you'll be pleased to hear that unless anything else happens, I will be back on Friday for Fancy Fold Friday. And because you've been so patient and because we've missed a few, I thought we'd do a really special one. So I've got some very special ones coming up, but we'll go for something a little bit more than your average, shall we say, for Friday. So lots of things. All of the items that we've used today are available over on the website, including the stamps and everything. Brushes and you name it, it's all over there. And well, nothing remains to say but have a lovely day. Looking forward to seeing quite a few of my ladies tomorrow on an online workshop, which we will be showing you some of the effects that we've got with that. And that is on Monday afternoon. And if any one of those people are watching, I will be sending out the link to the Zoom workshop for that later on today. And it will come into your emails if you haven't been with us before and don't know the way that it all goes. Whilst I think about it, also talking about the craft-alongs, they will be starting in September. I will tell you all about them, but I think you're going to like them. So they're going to be with a kit that you can purchase if you don't already have it. You may well have some of the elements or something that you could use at home that would be just okay. So that is all something for us to do as well. I'm glad you've got all of the card cut out, June. Yeah, a little bit of homework. So yeah, don't forget if you have got that. If you are doing the workshop with me, there was a little thing saying about cutting out some card to help us all before. So we've got 4 projects to make tomorrow. So hopefully you'll be on board with all that. So again, thank you very much for joining me. Have a lovely day, whatever it is that you're doing. And I will see you next on Wednesday. If you're not with me tomorrow on the crafty workshop, I'll see you Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Okay. Thank you very much for coming, everybody. See you soon. Bye.